right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Convention Health Professional Panel. And we'll begin with Susan Adams. And Susan Adams is an RN, a psychiatric ward. She's a homeschool mother of 3, science teacher. She worked as a missionary in Vienna, Austria. She served as a Navy nurse in Long Beach, California, not far from here. And she also served as a missionary nurse in the jungle hospital of Shell Mera, Ecuador. Yeah, Ecuador. Thank you. And so we'll begin with her. I'm going to hand you the mic, Susan. So, Susan, would you share with us why did you choose to partner with NeoLife and how the products impacted you and your family?
Wow. Well, Josh, thanks for asking me up here. I'm very excited to share with all you. You know, there's so many choices out there, so much competition, and over the years, Lee and I have tried at least a dozen different network marketing companies, and we never stayed with any of them, but we have stayed with NeoLife because we never found better science, and we never found better integrity anywhere in our experience. Also, no other products, and we tried many, have worked like NeoLife to help us regain and maintain our health. So Lee suffered for decades with chronic sinus infections. And every winter, he would have to get 2 or 3 rounds of antibiotics. But with 3 carotenoid complex a day, Lee just stopped having sinus problems. So also, after 15 years on NeoLife, Lee's man friends regularly comment on how he just doesn't seem to be growing any older. Why is that? So for me, it has a longer story. I was 49 and I was old and I was falling apart. My brain wasn't working well and I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate, and I couldn't remember things like I needed to. Also, I was in constant pain with daily headaches, neck aches, back aches, sore joints. I had 24 symptoms of fibromyalgia. Also, I had many digestive problems, which, along with the pain, ruined my sleep. And all of these things, plus the stress of life and abrupt menopause, I resulted in depression and mood disturbances that made for a less than pleasant family life. What a mess. All this time, I was really trying to fix myself with numerous diet and lifestyle changes and lots of random supplements. These helped some, but they did not get me well. And I'll just say, as a psychiatric nurse, I didn't want to go for the medicines, so I just kept trying with supplements. Well, when Josh introduced us to NeoLife, I was skeptical, but I was willing to try the Formula 4, the Betazyme, and the Acidophilus. In 4 months, my digestion was greatly improved. I was sleeping better, and I was encouraged to take more. So I stepped it up to Active 40 and started taking 3 each, also of Salmonol Plus, Carotenoid Complex, and Trianan. I added some feminine herbal, some mind enhancement, and a shake, and the depression, the mood swings gave way to a properly functioning brain as the inflammation went down, the pain went away, and it took about 4 more months on about 26 pills a day, but I really started feeling like myself again. Since then, it's been a journey of continued healing and careful, deliberate maintenance. Next month, I'll be 65, and I'm really happy to say that...
Wow, you look amazing.
I'm super happy to say that the past 15 years on NeoLife are the healthiest, the most mentally stable, and pain-free, energetic, and youngest years of my adult life.
Wow. And can you share a specific story? I know you have many, all of you do, to choose from, but can you share a specific story of somebody whose life that you've gone on to impact through sharing the products?
You're right. There's so many wonderful stories on about every kind of ailment and problem you can imagine, but we have time for just one. And this is the story of my friend Liz Moore, who's been on this stage, on this panel in the past, and she's really sorry she can't be here this year. When I met Liz 8.5 years ago, in 2008, she had been sick with Lyme disease for 17 years, and she was preparing to die. Her Lyme specialist doctor had given up on her, Liz's lab's results showed a chronically weak immune system, and she did not know how to recover. When I met her, Liz was already eating the most perfect diet possible. But for chronically ill people with poor immune systems, a perfect diet is not enough. Liz knew this, and she felt she needed some excellent supplements, and had even written down her criteria for supplements. But she did not know if they even existed. Liz is from New Jersey, and I'm from South Carolina, and we met randomly at an event in Virginia. And we believe our meeting was a divine appointment. Liz overheard me telling someone else, Marjorie Clark, your mom's story about fixing her immune system. And Liz was curious because of her own immune problems. When she realized I was talking about nutritional supplements, she was ready with her questions. She asked if NeoLife supplements are whole food. She knew that was important. Of course I could say, yes, we are a whole food nutritional company. She wanted to know, are there any human clinical trials on your supplements? These are really rare because they're expensive to do them. And I told her that, sure enough, our 4 main products do have human clinical trials. Do they track the sources of the raw ingredients? She asked. Oh, yeah, I said. Each product has a lot number written right on the package. So every single ingredient of every single product can be tracked right back to the field it came from. Wow, she liked that. I hope you know where that little lot number is, so you can tell your people that. She wanted to know now who manufactures the NeoLife products. She said, unless you have total control of the manufacturing process, you don't really know what you're getting. I was happy to tell her that, yes, NeoLife actually has their own manufacturing plant and has total control over both the raw ingredients as well as continual testing of the final products. Do you know that we even test to make sure they can live, the little capsules and tablets can live in the packet together for a long time? We test that. That's awesome. Also, she wanted to know, is our lab licensed by the FDA? Now, I mean, not everybody grills you like this, but she knew a lot. And I was so proud to be able to say that, yes, our lab is licensed by the FDA, meaning we hold to the highest production standards. Okay, I'll try them, she said, and she signed up, and she ordered a lot, and she took a lot. To be objective and scientific, well, as you know, really sick and dying people not only need to take a lot, it takes time for sick bodies to heal, so we can't expect miracles overnight. And to be objective and scientific, Liz did lab work before starting, and again at 6 and 12 weeks. So to make a really wonderful, long story shorter, her Lyme doctor used to get excited if her immune function went up 4 or 5%. But after only 6 weeks on NeoLife, and I said she took a lot, Liz's numbers were up 100% in 6 weeks. Then, after 6 more weeks, she tested again, and they went up another 100%, and that meant she was out of the dangerous and dying zone. All because God makes our bodies to heal themselves if they get the right building blocks and nutrients, and that's what we have to offer in NeoLife. If you all want to see the lab results, you can find it on Liz's website, and it's called livingbynutrition.com, livingbynutrition.com, and she also lists all the NeoLife supplements she took at that time. So the first year, Liz went on to build her NeoLife business to director size, and the next year she began studying to be a naturopathic doctor. And with her knowledge and experience, and with NeoLife, she has helped thousands of people. So you can see how sharing with just one person has spread to so many.
Wow, thank you so much, Susan. Wow, isn't that exciting? And next, we'll hear from Jim McAfee, a clinical nutritionist, researcher, author, and international speaker. He also serves on the board of the International Association of Clinical Nutritionists, and he has been on NeoLife's Health Professional Council for many years. Jim, thank you so much for joining us, and I also want to thank you for how much you've contributed so much for many decades to the NeoLife family. And as a health professional with many choices, why did you choose to partner with NeoLife?
Well, primarily it was the results that we saw in our own family. My first contact with NeoLife was through my mother's experience. She fell down at 43 and broke her arm like a little old lady. And so she went and tried some of the supplements, and the bone healed in half the time the doctor expected it to. And so the doctor and the nurse said, could you get us some of the supplements so we could try them too? Then I heard that story, and I heard it from my mother. She tells everyone everything. My second exposure was a family member who had developed schizophrenia as a result of an auto accident, and they told us he would never be normal, and again, we had one chance in 5 of ever getting out of a hospital. And thanks to NeoLife, particularly the protein and the stress pack, made a remarkable recovery and has been able to live a normal life. So that was very dramatic. The first convention that I went to, I sat down in the lobby of the hotel, and there was an elderly lady named Florence Eklund sitting across from me, and I said, well, tell me your NeoLife story. And she shared about how she'd been a nurse, and she hurt her back and took cortisone and butazolid, and it dissolved all the cartilage in her body. And she was an invalid in a wheelchair, and then she started the supplements, and after 10 days she could stand up. And so that really impressed me. And then as I researched the company and I read about the chain of life, I thought back to, I had a chance to meet Roger Williams while he was still alive. He was a pioneering nutritionist in Texas. And he wrote a book, a basic book on nutrition, and the core of the heart of the book is the chain of life. And so I was so impressed when I saw that NeoLife does extracts of foods, and the target is to provide the entire chain of life that's necessary for health. So that was very impressive. The other thing is I'd had a lot of experience with synthetic vitamins, and so often they tend to trigger a reactivity syndrome. You know, there's a pathway from the roof of our mouth to the brain, and if something's unnatural and synthetic, oftentimes people get a gag reflex. Very, very rare with any of the NeoLife products because they're based in foods.
Thank you, Jim. And can you share, as a health professional, as you look out over the audience and you look at the fact that the World Health Organization projects that 3 out of 4 deaths by 2020 will be attributed to one of those chronic diseases, what do you think, what would you share with us who are just lay people, but see the impact these products are making? What can we do? And what do we need? Do you believe that we need to be activated to help end the trend?
I think in my experiences with the medical profession, I think of it like a cattle chute. You get into the medical paradigm, and they have their standards of practice, and if they step out of those standards of practice, they have problems. They can experience problems with medical boards, and they're afraid to do it, and they're not trained in how to offer nutritional advice for the most part. So most of the people that I talk to, their doctors have no concept of nutrition, and they never tell them anything about nutrition, no matter what the problem is, whether it's cancer or heart disease or whatever. And so it really is, we need a nation of health educators to point people to the fact that nutrition does make a difference in chronic disease. And it's the kind of things that NeoLife works with. John Miller did such a good job last night of talking about the fact that we have these nutritional gaps. And basically, health boils down to the fact that we need the complete chain of life, all of the nutrients, and we also have to avoid the toxins in the food. Both of those are equally important. And we as individuals can guide people and show them the way to both get the nutrients they need and also to avoid a lot of the toxins that are commonly available in the food supply. And most people know they're there. They just need motivation to avoid those things.
Well, thank you, Jim. And do you have any last word that you want to share with us?
You know, I have so many people that we've worked with over the years that have had great results with the supplements. The first distributor that ever signed up with us in 1969 was named Herman Tiberend. And he was restored to health. He was so bad in the beginning that he couldn't remember anything. His boss had to write down the instructions for him at work so that he could do them. And he and his wife had a total transformation in health. And he just died here recently, and you know, he was around 90 or so. And he called us up, and he said, I asked them to pull the plug on the kidney dialysis machine. But before I go, I wanted to call you and Lucille and thank you for making such a huge difference in our lives. We would not have been able to live the quality of life that we've had if it weren't for NeoLife and for your sharing those products with us so many years ago.
Wow. Send that, yeah, let's give him a huge round of applause. I remember how when Lucille shared that story with me, how it just really just gripped me and just reminded me in a whole fresh new way just how important each of our roles are in this audience, as you said, Jim, for us to go out there and be educators, you know, and that help carry out this mission that NeoLife has to end the trend. And we do that through education and providing a solution in a community. And thank you, Jim, for what you and Lucille have done all these years to touch so many thousands, tens of thousands of lives.
Can I share one other real cute story? We had a car dealership in our town that was going to have a contest. And what the person had to do was stand with their hand on the car for as long as they possibly could. And the last one that was still standing got the free car. So this lady, Tamara, came in and she said, what have you got that would help me? So we sold her a Sports 30. She started taking it, and she entered the contest, and she stood for over 20 hours. She won the car. And she drove back to our office in her new car and said, this is a sports pack car.
What a cool story. So you never know what stories you're going to go home with from convention. So next we'll move on to the two medical doctors on our panel, and we have Dr. Dale Ekstrum. He has an urgent care and family care practice, as well as an aesthetic medicine practice. He's a board-certified family physician with a wide variety of experiences and skills, including a special emphasis in emergency medicine, sports medicine, and advances in aesthetic medicine. He gives his time as a team physician for a high school as well as a college. And you've had such an impact, I know, in your community and as well, and your patients, as well as on this NeoLife family. And I'd like to ask you the same question. With all your professional experiences and with all that you're exposed to, why did you choose to partner with NeoLife, and how has it impacted your family?
Those of you who were here last year, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys, because you kind of set the foundation of how reliable these products are, that you can track them back. Like Jim said, medicine in general, we don't get a lot of nutrition training, so what I've gained in nutrition training has been through NeoLife, which is a incredible But the reason I became involved was really relationships, partly. Bob and Debbie are friends of ours, and Bob is very enthusiastic, and he found an even more enthusiastic friend in Louis, and I couldn't believe Louis's energy. They would come down and do talks, and I always found an excuse not to quite go to them. My wife was really into it. And my son, who's a great athlete, looking at now a D1 football scholarship, he was just moved up to varsity football, and he broke his ankle. I was the team doctor, and his tibia, it was a fracture all the way through the tibia, through the entire length of it. And that fracture, basically, he had just got moved up to varsity, and he was going to be able to play at varsity level the next game. Well, that fracture occurred that Monday at practice, and his hopes and dreams of that varsity season went down the tubes. or so I thought. But Sherry said, why don't you just at least try this stuff? And I said, okay, well, let me look into it, just to at least research it a little bit. And I found that they are whole food products, and my first job is to do no harm. And I can guarantee you with these products, you will do no harm. And I can tell you why in a minute, but they're whole food. Nothing really exists like allopathic medicine would like you to believe by itself. When we take calcium or magnesium, it needs to be absorbed with other nutrients so it's absorbed completely and physiologically. And so I looked into it and saw that these were really whole food products. They're just like eating extra nutrients of whole food. And we started Danny on the calcium, the salmon oil, and protein. And I didn't want to make the call of when he could play again because I didn't want to be biased, but he was pain-free in 5 days. And it's a fracture that I would normally immobilize for 4 weeks, rehab for another 2, and then maybe start practice on the 8th week or maybe 9th week. I took him to an orthopedist who cleared him to play 8 days later with no pain. And if I had not seen that, I would not have believed. I took the x-ray myself, and if I had not seen that fracture and seen his ankle, I would have thought that he had somebody else's ankle mixed up because it healed in that time. So that kind of got me thinking, and my daughter was struggling too at the same time with some burnout, some adrenal burnout, which I thought I'm starting to see more of in my practice. And so we started her on those products, and she was at the point where she was not really going to be able to finish high school. She had burned the candle at both ends. I'm sure many of you have offspring like this, a little bit, wanting to do everything perfectly, and they generally do things perfectly. But it was getting to her, and she was really burned out. Her adrenal glands were shot, and we started her on these products. And she not only finished high school, but got into a reputable college. And today she's here as a director. And you can follow her on social media and follow her exploits of hiking through Patagonia and all the way through Spain. And at one point, we did not know if she would be able to finish high school. And now she's a senior in college. So those personal stories are what turned me on to NeoLife. But really, the relationships have continued to impress me. And I was just calculating here, I have over 150,000 patient visits in my career, and I've supervised over 500,000 patient visits. And during that time, I have never found anything that truly revolutionizes people's health. This gives people, and I want to be clear here, the products here do not cure anything whatsoever. God made your bodies to fight disease. God made your immune system to fight cancer. Chemotherapy doesn't fight cancer. Every single one of us here right now have cancer cells in our body. And the thing that is keeping them at bay or getting rid of them is our immune system. If you give your immune system, your cells, 30 trillion cells in your body, the building blocks that it needs to replace themselves, to function optimally, you will heal fractures if you're a teenager in 8 days. The rest of us, it might take 18 days. But if you give your body everything it needs to heal, it is an amazing, amazing machine to watch work. Now, again, just giving it the building blocks to work. And the other part of that, the other aspect of that is getting rid of the toxins, sitting down with people, and if they're drinking 18 Diet Cokes in a day and wondering why they feel bad, you can subtract out some of the poisons and toxins that they're taking. So those are the kind of the two aspects of the things that I approach. But really, to answer your question, again, it's personal experience, but also realizing that the company is reliable. They do what they say. I researched them. There is really no lawsuits associated with them. They're not a flash-in-the-pan network marketing program or scheme. Everything I've seen has been reliable and filled with integrity.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ekstrum. And I also want to thank not only you, but I want to thank you how you've, in the midst of your busy schedule, how you've responded and been easy to get a hold of. You made time. Thank you for that, for the whole NeoLife family, not just your patients and team. And I also want to thank your wife, Sherry, as your office manager. You've been incredible. Thank you for how you've helped facilitate this as well. And is there any final comments that you wanted to make?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be asked to help out with trying the new sports pack. And I actually used it on my son. He had hit a plateau. He had strained his anterior thigh, and he is using the NeoLife products, and when he took them, he was doing a little bit better. He would, of course, forget to take them sometimes, but he was kind of at a plateau and healing from that this summer, and he was working out, very heavily, starting on varsity in a very good team with a chance at a state championship. But he was kind of hitting a plateau. Well, we started him on that sports pack, and within 4 or 5 days of starting that, his anterior thigh strain, which is a chronic tendinous strain that takes weeks, even months to heal. He was basically pain-free 5 days later. So as far as recovery goes, I think the sports pack is going to be revolutionary for athletes or like myself, wannabe athletes like myself, who wants to heal quickly and get back out there and hurt myself again. But the one final thing I would say is I was convinced that you will do no harm with this product when my dog Izzy broke into our garage and stole the salmon oil and ate the whole bottle of salmon oil. And normally I'd be, paying my vet's Mercedes bill by having his stomach puffed and watching him overnight. But I just said, let's just watch this pup, watch what he does. And he was happy as a clam. Smelled a little bit like salmon, but he was moving free and easy. And he did the same thing with the protein powder. He will go into the garage and ignore all the other food, everything else in there, and specifically pick out NeoLife products and somehow get the top off. And he does it. Ask my family, and it's more than once. Even when we put them up high, he knocks over the shelf to get them down. But anyway, you will do no harm, and I can guarantee that with almost every product he's tried. So,
thank you. That dog knows a good thing when it sees it, or smells it. Okay, and next, Dr. Joaquín González, Aragón, 5-diamond director, board-certified geriatric specialist, consultant in aging and health education for the UN and the World Health Organization for 15 years, professor, author, speaker, and lecturer at conferences, courses, scientific meetings, and universities. And he's a passionate advocate for NeoLife science and serves on the Health Professionals Council. So, Dr. Joaquín, thank you for once again being on our health professional panel. And as a medical professional, again, you've been approached by a lot. Why did you choose to partner with NeoLife?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Congratulations. Very good, your comments. First of all, I want to say, you said I'm a geriatrician. I was the first graduated geriatrician in Mexico. Geriatrics is the specialty to treat illnesses of the old people. But there were no geriatricians in Mexico, and I started. I started the cathedra, the services. 25 years I devoted to develop geriatrics in Mexico, and when I left geriatrics, I left more than 500 geriatricians in place. But at some point, I was disappointed of geriatrics. Yes, because when people come to see you at the office, when they are 70, 75, geriatrics is supposed to be 60 or 65. In Mexico, it's 60. Here is 65 years, over 65. They are so sick that you cannot do many things for them. Something was missing, and it was the prevention. And this has to be started before the geriatric age. So that means 40 or something like that. So I started to study in United States anti-aging medicine. So I also was the pioneer of anti-aging medicine. In Mexico, there are more than 2,000 doctors all over the country doing anti-aging medicine. In that process, to me, no one invited me to GNLD at that time. I found GNLD. I needed something for the anti-aging part. Also, I was a professor. I loved biochemistry. Molecular biology. And in one expo in the medical center of Mexico City, there was one lady sitting by the table. I approached her, I saw the products, I took some of them, and I said, lady, you have a treasure in here. And you said, I have many, I am interested in this. How much do they cost? And they said, such a price, X price. And I said, okay, I want 200 of each of these. Of these 5, give me, it was something like $10,000 or something like that. And she said, but if you sign up, you will get it cheaper. And you say, you should have started by saying me that. And she took my credit card, we did place an order. Lately, I knew they didn't take American Express. But the lady was so smart that she took my card, and she paid the products, and she brought to my office. So it's how I started. Those products fitted exactly in the biochemical process to keep the balance, the homeostasis of the body, and to activate the self-maintenance, self-repairing, and self-healing processes of our body. So it is how it started. Of course, Diana didn't like it. She said, they cheated you. How come you go to a network marketing company and say, I don't care, I want the products? After 3 months, she said, you find a gold mine. And she was right. But this is another story. Maybe Diana will say that later. One important thing is that to me, perfect. I am to be 72 years in 2 more months.
Wow.
Every year, I check everything, everything. Profiles, scans, MRIs, and everything. I have nothing. I am healthy, and I can go everywhere, and I still can think and reason in a good manner. For my mother, she was a cancer survivor. She took the products 18 years. She had a breast cancer. They removed the breast. One of my friends, oncologist, removed the breast. He died of cancer, and my mother survived. She passed away last year, but cancer never came back. And she didn't have chemotherapy nor radiotherapy. I trusted the products of GNT. And she survived without cancer 24 years. In my family, 2 grandchildren. Diego, he was a premature baby, less than 1 kilogram. I don't know in pounds how much is it, but he was small here in my hand. Diego, now is 11 years old. She has taken, since the first moment of his life, Salmon Oil Plus. My daughter, she's a doctor, into the nursery, put the salmon oil here in her finger and give to the baby here. Also liquid. He's a champion in swimming, national level in Mexico. I would say the grandfather cannot swim, and he's a champion. His first degree in the school, he speaks English and everything. And also he plays the violin. The grandfather doesn't play anything. And I think, and I am certain that the products did a big difference. And my other grandson, Leonardo also started with the product since he was born, and now he's a champion in soccer game. And he's in the national selection to their age, to his age. So those kids are very smart. Those kids are first class. They speak English. They do everything. And I think, and I'm certain, the products did big difference. About cases. You are talking about the challenges. I was watching They lost 20 pounds, they lost 60 pounds, 5 pounds. The challenge was very, very interesting, and I congratulate the contestants. But we, in my case, in Disney, we specialize in weight control in 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, which is more delicate, not so easy. Maria Luisa Vargas, she might be around here. She came to me walking with difficulties, with a helper to walk. She weighed 280 pounds and something like that. And I said to her, if you do this, you take the product, you take the shake and do that, but you have to assume your responsibility to make changes in your lifestyle, because you don't have a nice lifestyle. Normally, obese people say, but I care very well of myself. No, that's not true. They don't care about their health. This lady now uses jeans. She dropped everything. She controlled cholesterol, she controlled hypertension, she controlled everything. And these are the cases that we see in Disney. Old people, let's say mature people, but I'm telling you what is the secret. They have told the secret already. I want to reinforce. The Ministry of Health in Mexico and the General Surgeon of the United States and the institutions, the big hospitals, Johns Hopkins, whatever you mention, cannot reverse the trend of epidemic diseases, chronic epidemic diseases. This is really an epidemic worldwide, all over the countries. And you know why? Because they do not trust to the institutions. Social Security in Mexico, insurance company here, Kaiser Permanente, and all the others. People, they do not trust them. They go because they have to go. You know what they trust? You. They trust family members, neighbors, community leaders, plain people. That's why they trust. And that is our role, the most important role in Disney team. And as I have heard, in most of your teams, you are assuming your role as educators. That is the key. That is what do not have any other companies. I don't want to mention names because here they sue. ¿Verdad? But the other companies say, you take this shake and you are going to lose weight. You know what company I mean. You take this product and then you are going to release stem cells and they are going to regenerate your body. But they, all the other companies, don't say, change your lifestyles. You are wrong in your lifestyles. It's easy to say, I am a diabetic person. I have arthritis. I am bipolar. I am old. I have allergies, gastritis, colitis, cancer. It is very cozy. It's very comfortable to admit that instead of saying, I don't eat well. I love sodas. I love bakeries. I die by cakes and by pork, for hamburgers, for Krispy Kreme donuts. I love junk food and pizzas. They don't. Nobody likes to say, I don't do exercise. I don't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours every day. I have a bad temper. No one accepts to say, I am a desperate. Or I live with all the stress of the world. There are people that say, I worry for everything. I live always worried. And when I don't worry, I worry because I am not worried. This is the normal standard for all the countries. And you still, after accepting that, want supplements to give you health. And if they don't heal, even with the supplements or with the doctor medications, they say that the Lord doesn't want me to be healthy. The doctors are not good. NeoLife is not a good company. The products are not. Waiting belongs to the body. Hopes belong to the soul. And health is physical, mental, and spiritual. We have to also make sure that the people understand that the Lord is the one to be healing each one of us. He will do the miracle where all the others say that you will not be healed, that you will have to die. To end, because I see nervousness in Joshua.
See what?
A wise doctor say, and take this, and take it home, and tell everybody, the best medicine is love and care. But the disciple asks, and if it doesn't work? Okay, love and care, the best medicine. And if it doesn't work, what to do? Increase the doses. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, your Health Professional Panel 2016, thank you so much. Thank you.